This conference will now be recorded.
It's hard to get through. Can you give me that code again? That
Yep.
number?
I'll text it to you.
Okay, now can you see me?
Yes.
All right.
Bye. Sorry, I'm texting Ruthie.
Here is all wow.
Okay. So thank you all for joining the second session of the 5 Points Art Gallery Virtual Artist Chat. This one I entitled the stage women of 5 Points Art Gallery. These are like mentor friends of mine who get a lot of guidance from, but I also want to highlight them, talk to them about what they're doing now during the times, and then this is our way to catch up, and then also for people who's purchased the work or know the people, the artists interested in the work, to kind of communicate with them directly to figure out how they can support if they want or need, or just have a casual conversation to get to know the artist. So the focus was on no order of importance: Rhonda Gatlin-Hayes, Evelyn Patricia Terry, Della, and Ruthie Joy, and another artist that who might not be on the call is a respected artist friend of mine, is Crystal Aubrey, does collage works as well. And so I'm just gonna get the conversation started with Rhonda.
What?
So,
Why you want to start with me?
what do you want me to
came
say?
in last.
Huh?
I'm. What you want me to say? I don't know. What you want me to talk about?
What have you been up to? It's been probably a month or so since I've seen you. And so and I'm not sure how long since you've seen some other people. So we're just trying to get a gauge about what's going on with you, making sure you're good, what you might be working on, if you're working on anything.
I'm doing a lot of different stuff that's related to art. The main thing I'm doing is trying to solidify a space in my home for my studio. That's very important to me, to be able to have a space where I can work and not have it all. I know people say your studio is to be a place where you can where it looks like work. Well, I don't like a messy place. I like to have everything in its place, and I have a plethora of things that I need to organize and put together. So that's been my main focus. But as far as creating art, I have been doing making masks for several upcoming shows. In particular, the This Is America show, wearable art show. There's also a show going to be at Museum of Wisconsin Art in, I believe it's June, and another one in September. And just recently with the COVID-19, a lot of other artists, I have been displaced. A lot of my contractual appointments that I had were canceled. So that kind of, put me in a hardship as far as finances. So I've been trying to find different ways to recoup that income that I lost. So I've been making masks, face masks, right, the face masks. And so I haven't sold them. I basically been giving away to family and friends. I think that's more important to me. Money is important, yes. However, my family and friends are important to me too. So because I do so, I've been making masks to give away to family and friends and make sure they're safe. And then once that's off my mind, I believe I'll be, I guess you say, more confident in selling the mask to the general public.
Okay. So I got some of your babies behind me. You see them?
Oh, yes.
These are some of Rhonda's many African-inspired media masks because she does mixed materials. Do you have any works similar to these? Any new work?
Not that I'm willing to share right now. Not that I'm willing to share right now. I'm making I do have some smaller masks that I'm making, but that's just a personal thing.
You have
You can't hear me? Why is your video okay, now I see you. I'm making several other masks because the show at the Museum of Wisconsin Art. Hello?
Hi.
I lost you.
I can hear you.
Oh. Museum of Wisconsin Art, they're requiring, well, not requiring, but they're requesting larger masks. So I'm working on those as well, making some bigger ones, but those are not available to view right now because I'm not finished. I don't particularly like to show my masks until they're finished. I've learned a valuable lesson in doing that. When I show things that are not finished, when it's not finished to me, I don't feel good about showing it. Does that make sense?
That's fair. Yeah. Is anyone unmuted? Hi, Matope. Okay. That kind of reduced the background noise. So Della,
Yeah.
what you been up to?
Well,
Are you still a busy bee?
I'm trying to get work done. I'm working on a commission for the courthouse because they're
Okay.
going to do. They're going to put. I think they got 5 or 6 artists that's going to, start working in the courthouse.
Mhm.
And excuse me for a minute. You see me on the phone. I'm sorry about that. But that's great grandkids. Anyway, I'm working on this collage for the courthouse, and they're going to put on a vinyl mural. And there's, I think, 4 or 5 other artists that are doing stuff. I know one is Tia Richardson. I know one is Rosie Petrie. Luna is doing one, and I know this artist CK is doing one.
Okay.
So it should be installed by May, but who knows with this virus. And I'm just trying to get work done in general. I got this one collector. He wants to get some work, but he hasn't seen anything that he bought, and everything that he wanted is already sold. So I just been, basically working.
That's a good position to be in. Just sticking, he's like, I want something. Were y'all able to get out and vote the other day?
I did a mail-in ballot 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Yours came.
Did you?
Well, I went out, Didn't I tell you? Or I didn't tell you?
Tell me.
This is Evelyn. I went to vote.
Did you wait 2 hours in line?
Maybe an hour and something. I was
brother
lucky
and his wife waited 2 hours.
Where'd they go?
They went to Riverside, and they went at 7 in the morning.
Oh, wow. Well, I was working on something.
Uh-huh.
And so what I did, I was trying to finish it, so I went at 4. And my daughter told me not to get on the bus. And my car was in the shop, and not to get in the car with anybody. So I walked from my house to Washington High School, and it probably took a half an hour because I walked slow. But when I got up there, I didn't know why there were people on the corner, and it was because there was a long line around the block. And what was interesting about it is the line moved slowly, and then sometimes very slowly, but they had marked off where you were supposed to stand. And when I got around to maybe I was a half an hour still away from the door. Maybe. I don't know how long it was taking to get to the door, but then a hailstorm came. And I hadn't taken my umbrella. So I had a adventurous time. And I called my son and said, "You have to get over here. I need an umbrella." Because I thought maybe it's going to rain like that all night or something, or all the rest of the day. But eventually, he came and he handed it to me. He said, "You know this is a plan for you all to die." And I said, "I know already. I know all that." And I said, "But I had to come because I was angry about that they wouldn't let him postpone the election, the governor." So I said, "I have to go up there and protest. It's the only thing I can do. And I won't feel bad if I didn't do anything, I would feel terrible. Because I probably wouldn't have even voted because I didn't really care. And I don't think voting makes any difference. So that's just the way I am." And so I went up there for that. But I would say after he left, it still took 15 minutes for the line to move forward. And finally there was a lady, and she was walking down the middle of the street, and she was cursing. So I had to tune that lady out. And then she said, "Hey, is anybody in here over 65?" And here I'm tuning her out, so I'm not listening. And I was like, "What did she say? How old am I anyway? I can't remember." And so finally I said, "Oh, I'm 74," and I started waving at her. She turned around and she kept going, and she said, "Okay, well, go to the ramp." And I was like, "Where's the ramp?" And then a guy came and said, "I'll show you where the ramp is." And then I'm done with this story because it was fun. When we got to the ramp and went in, he said, "Here's somebody, get them in line to vote." And then the people were just looking at me, and he said, she can't breathe." And I said, "Okay, fine." I was just hoping they wouldn't try to help me breathe. That was funny. And
besides protest voting, have you been working on anything?
Just a project that I'm working on for the museum, the Peterburg Art Museum, and I have a contract with them to do an exhibition that is supposed to open in May. It's called Eye of the Beholder: African Americans Collecting Art. And so I've been putting together the art collectors who will be in the exhibition. And that's been interesting because what I love about the project is that I made up this thing to do, which is to write a 100-word statement about each collector. So that's what I love doing. And then I don't know if it'll ever get up, because they think they're going to be able to open it on the 13th, but I don't know why.
I don't know
That's
why.
all. I don't either, because it sounds like this may go on forever.
Yeah,
It did.
18 months.
I know it's going to be a long, whatever. So we'll see what happens with it. Maybe they'll figure out something to do. Like maybe if they can just pick up the artwork and hang it, then maybe they can put it online and learn to do the things that everybody else, I guess, all other people are learning to do. And I'm not really doing artwork right now. I had quit after my show, and I was just archiving work all of my life. I have 50 years of what would I say, records about my life, and I'm organizing that so I can turn it into the art museum, like Della is so diligently doing. I just have to get mine organized so I don't turn in the same thing over and over. 'Cause I have a lot. So that's what I'm working on. I'll tell you one more thing, and then you could ask me things later. But the other thing is, I am working on traveling my artwork, and I haven't figured out how to do it because I know nothing about that. But I met a man once who knew how to do it.
Evelyn.
So that's what I'm working on.
Any of the other comments? If you're not, are you able to mute your speaker? Can you speak, please?
I can't hear what you just said.
Mute
I was asking if any of the other callers on the line, if you can mute your speakers to speak. We're picking up a lot of background noise and it's overshadowing the conversation.
Okay. Oh, Fatima, I forgot to tell you one more thing. I am in a show right now, but it's online at Portrait Society Gallery. It's a drawing show. So they're featuring she's featuring one artist each week over the course of the next 2 months. Huh?
How many artists are there?
Probably, I think about 6.
Okay.
7.
And now I'm gonna pull in Ruthie. She's able to join.
Hey.
How are you?
Well, I'm getting over pneumonia, so I'm okay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
one
joining.
of those things. So I can't hear you, Fatima. What did you just say?
I said thank you for joining. I didn't know you were ill.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Have you been self-quarantining?
I've been self-quarantined for a month now.
Okay.
Wow.
But you've been producing work in the meantime, because I see your post.
Yeah, for the Martin show. I'm not going to talk a lot because I also have laryngitis. So yeah, it's an ongoing thing. It's been like this
I
for
can't
like
help
a
but
month.
say this, Ruthie. Do you have a juicer?
I do smoothies. I do not have a juicer. And I do
Well,
a
what
lot
do you put in the smoothies?
Pineapple, banana, spinach. What else? Apples. Yeah, and I drink herbal tea, which is green tea and ginger with honey.
Well, I'll talk to you later.
Suggestions? Yeah, call me.
I'll talk to you later. You need help.
Okay.
Evelyn, you keep proud of me. I made my first green smoothie yesterday. I have it right now.
Oh, great.
Yummy.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And then I have cucumber chips next to me. I've been eating them like they're potato chips.
Wow, you just cut a regular cucumber?
Huh?
You just cut a regular cucumber, or you made it into chips
they were spoiling so fast, so I just started cutting them up really quickly.
Yeah, they will spoil fast.
So, but yeah.
Yeah.
So the work, I know you don't want to speak too much. The work you're working on, you want to explain it? I know you said my new show.
Yeah, my new show, my new work is for the Martin show, which I'm working with Matope with, which I haven't grouped them together yet because I can't get out to get the, because it's supposed to be like a piece of furniture. So once they're put together, so I'm going to order the pieces online to get them together. That's the only way I can do it. But I'm starting to work on some smaller pieces also. So, and I have some 6 feet frames that I'm not frames, canvases that I have that I'm going to be working on also.
Is that
So,
with paint?
yes,
Okay.
paint. Yeah.
I
Are
don't know.
you using acrylic?
One of your teams.
Using acrylics. Yeah, you have the last shirt because I haven't printed any more of those off either.
I have them, a stack of them right here by me too. If you want to buy any of your products, they're in the gallery. I can mail them.
Yes.
That's
Business
easy.
cards. Della got an array of stuff.
Nice.
How much are the shirts?
They're
Huh?
25.
They're 25. Okay,
Yeah.
they're nice. I like them.
They're all
Yeah. I
different
plan on
designs.
I plan on making more, but I just haven't been able to with being sick and I can't get out and do what I want to do. So,
Well, you better stay in, Ruthie. Don't go out.
well, the good thing is that I've never had a fever throughout this whole thing. I
You
did
don't
get
want to
tested.
get one.
Yeah, I
Stay in
did
the
get
house.
tested. I had to get tested for the virus, which was negative. So, that's
Good.
another good thing.
Stay in
But
there.
I've been really careful because pneumonia is no joke. I mean, if you don't want to breathe, you end up like me. So I'm trying to take it easy. But I'm getting bored.
Well, don't say
From
that.
resting.
Remember you
From
said that
resting.
before. Remember you said that before?
Yeah, but I'm
What did I say?
always
What did I
bored.
say about
I
bored?
can't remember. I have old people brain fart.
Okay. I'll call you.
Okay, Evelyn.
Has the shutdown completely shifted your practices, or you just feel like it's business as usual?
For me,
Time or less time? This is for all of you all.
What did you say?
I said, has the shutdown shifted your practices, or is it kind of still business as usual? Because it seems like everyone is still busy, which is good.
I'm
Well, I
busy
can
but not
talk.
making any money.
I can tell you that basically I always work, and so there's no way for me to not work if I'm alive. So it's the same for me. I'm always busy doing something, and it's been like that for years. So I would say it's business as usual for me. Always doing something. Today I just happen to be working on this exhibition because I have to write, and I'm working on getting paid. So whatever it is, however I get to getting paid. That's my goal when I'm working on a project or something.
There has access to materials been an issue, or again, it's just like you had enough in inventory, you're working from that, and none of the places you were.
I'll just make art from whatever I have. I mean, I got materials here.
Yeah, I'm like Della. I'm the same way. I just make whatever I have here because I have tons of stuff. So I always have something to do.
Same
If I
here.
have to do it on paper bags, I'll do it on paper bags.
Huh?
What did you say, Della?
I said
I
same
said if
here.
I
I
have to do it on
have
paper bags, I'll do it on paper bags.
That's
Yeah, I
true.
know what you mean. That is true. I have
And
a
I
piece
was
of cardboard sitting on my table right now that I'm going to use. So, yeah.
That's funny because every time I look at something I want to throw away, I said Della would make something wonderful out of this. Can't you think of something, Evelyn? And then I don't. So then I just put it in the pile with all the other things I keep and think that Della would make something wonderful out of. I have a pile of things like that.
Me too. And I know Rhonda had transported some wooden spoons to Della the other day.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna make some downs out of them.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of organizing, like I said, and reorganizing, rethinking things, and I think about my artist friends and who use different things. So like Fatima said, I had some wooden spoons, and she was happened to be by here, being a wonderful person. She brought me over some wood putty for some wood projects that I'm doing, and I gave her the spoons for Della. So I mean, I think about my artist friends who may use something that I wouldn't use the wooden spoon. So that's another one of the things that I'm doing. Instead of, you know, throwing it away, I like to try and repurpose and give it to other people that may can use it when I wouldn't use something of that nature. Because I haven't used the wooden spoons for anything, and they were just sitting there. So, you know, like the other lady said, I use what I have because you really can't go out. A lot of the stuff is depleted, you know. So you basically got to use what you have.
Do you think
Yeah,
like
that's true.
circumstances like this will make or break an artist? Do you think it's a good catalyst to push them to see if they are actually creative, and resourceful? What is your opinion on that?
I
I
think
think
so.
if
I
the
think you have
artist
to
is gonna
think outside the box.
Yes,
yeah,
you are.
yeah, I think if your artist is straight no matter what.
Right.
Right. I think like that, more or less, that I always think I live like there's a pandemic going on. So
Oh, that's
I
different.
can't really I can't really say I'm living any differently than I normally would live, except that I have to put the mask on and ask other people when they come in my house to put it on. So that's the difference. But my actual state of being is the same at all times.
And
So I'm always
that's because you
working.
eat raw food.
Probably I stay well. I'm healthy forever. Every once in a while something happens, but then I go drink a lot of juice, raw green juices without much sugar, sweet, or any kind of fruit in it. When something really happens to you, you have to get away from the sweet part because you feed that particular thing called candida. You can write that down, Ruthie Joy.
What's it
Look up
called?
candida. Candida.
I want to say something.
Candida.
Did you get the chance? I just want to say that it has given me a greater appreciation of the things I have. I am more aware of what I have, and it really speaks to my focus. Well, not focus. I would say my the type of art that I do, repurposing things. And for instance, there was a computer desk that got wet in the rain, and I really wanted to use it, but the wood was warped. So I took it apart, took the wood pieces off, and I took the metal pieces, retained the metal pieces, and made a container, a standing container for my. I have wallpaper and stuff. So I mean, it's allowing me to repurpose the things that I have and giving me more appreciation of things that I have. And when normally I would have just threw the whole thing in the garbage, but I took parts of it and made it out of something different and usable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yes,
Yeah,
it
you
is.
should put it. You should put it on Facebook so I can see it.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have any before pictures, but I do have the after pictures.
Put it
Oh,
on
nice.
there.
Okay, I will. I'll do that.
I want to see it.
Okay,
Yeah.
My voice might sound funny, but I want to see it.
okay.
Do you all have any other comments before I open it up to the audience? It's about 10 or plus
Oh,
other
wow.
participants in here who have been listening. And
Okay. What did you say? What was the question?
I said, is there any other specific thing you want to say about what you're doing right now? Or Any messages you want to relay before I open it up to allow people to interface?
I will say one more thing that I'm doing is I was so busy I never found my happy birthday wishes in January.
That was funny,
So,
okay?
you saw it?
Yes, I did. I did.
I posted, and then after that, I had been typing up something for a friend to help them get well, and so I put it in everybody who. I didn't get through the list. I've only gotten through 20 of them, and I have to get through the rest. But I just discovered where they were, and I have to find them every time. I have no idea where these things are on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook has kind of changed, so.
Yeah, so when I find it again and I get done with the writing that I have to do for this as a curator, guest curator, I will go back to posting. And I know it's like a book. My sister told me once, you always write a book. And she said, no, I didn't read it. And I said, maybe it'll be for the right person. That's all I care about.
That's too funny.
Ruthie Joy, I know you said Facebook has changed, and it just reminded me, a writer emailed me interested in an article, and he asked about my use of social media to stay connected. And I told him I actually am not a fan of social media, and he told me he didn't believe me. So,
because you're on there.
She's not on there like other people.
If all the businesses cease, social media ceases. But are you fans of social media?
I'm not either. I'm not a fan of it. I am not. There's too many people to hijack your stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about it, so I don't know whether to be a fan or not. You're not a fan because I haven't made myself understand it as well as other people understand it.
Yeah, my feelings are mixed about it, and partially because back in the 70s and 80s, and probably the first part of the 90s, I worked with computers, and they introduced computers in the 70s, and they did have the internet back then, and they did have email, but I saw some of the same behaviors that you see on social media. People will hide, hide behind their profile. It's easier to say stuff and misinformation. So my feelings are mixed. I think it can be a good thing, but then again, I also think it can be a bad thing too. It depends on how you use it and what you're using it for. And I don't think it's particularly as an artist, everybody says, be on social media. Then they got all these, platforms and stuff to be on. I mean, you spend too much time on it. You can't be on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
just because you have a lot of followers, that don't mean that you're selling a lot of work too? Because I know this young artist went and told me that he knows this guy on Instagram has a lot of followers. I forgot how many followers that he had, but she said he doesn't hardly sell any work.
Have you all seen it help sell work or not?
Not me.
More likes than turns into sales? Success?
Well, I've gotten sales, and I've gotten people, that I've gotten, other jobs, speaking engagements, and other things from it. But I think you also got to look at who's your friends too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree.
It depends. Probably if I just had my family, I probably wouldn't sell anything.
Facts.
Hello?
Yeah, I told the writer, I'm like, it's not a thing. I do use it as only a marketing tool. If businesses stop, so does it. I do value it to communicate with international friends, because that's one of the main modes of communication I've had with people I met abroad. But as far as like generating publicity, sales, and other like viable traction, it's been from like press releases and other like, I guess, more traditional forms where it makes it into an actual magazine and to bring out interested parties, because it also is going to the proper viewer, people who really are interested in the work and collecting versus people just wanting to see what's going on.
I would like to interject.
Go ahead.
I think that because of this COVID-19 thing, that's the route things are gonna be going, because basically that's the only way we can connect with one another is via the internet and phone. I mean, who knows how long this is gonna go on. Hopefully that it'll get back to what you consider normal, of being able to go out every day and interact with your friends and have play dates, artist dates, or whatever you want to call it. But right now at this point in time, this is the way this is going to be the norm. So I'm trying to revisit that, and I'm not a fan personally of posting my things online. That's just not me. I don't do a lot of posting of what I'm doing, for the fear that I'm just paranoid of people wanting to steal my ideas. I know a lot of times people say, oh well, a lot of great ideas were stolen. um that's just me, that's just Rhonda thinking, and that's my opinion, and I hold my things close to my chest in relation to posting things online. I want it to be shown all at once. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That
I don't know. I don't
makes
know,
sense.
Rhonda, because I probably am not paranoid. I know people stealing are going to steal something. If they can find a way to steal it and they want it, they'll steal it. When they don't want it, they won't steal it. And so they will break a wall down and steal it. So I don't really worry about other people. I'm influenced a lot by other people, maybe just the way they work or some way. I'm not a copier, so I don't copy other people.
Okay.
I depend on my own. If people have stolen my work, but I always change too, so it doesn't matter. I have more ideas.
So you're always,
for me, I'm freer.
So what you're saying is you're always evolving. Your work is always evolving. So therefore, you don't worry about someone, what do you call it? I don't know.
Profiting off of your work.
Yeah, I guess that's the only way you can put it.
Yeah, I don't think about other people, because I know if they want it, they'll take it. They'll take the work, and somebody will buy the work and copy it if they want it.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah,
so,
and I want to say this. I wanted to say this too. One thing I will say about, at least in my case, it actually put me in connection with some of my collectors. Like I have some curators. I have gallery owners. I have some politicians. I have a lot of people that's that's my friends. I'm sure I have some that not, but a lot of them have an interest in art. So it's a way for me to keep in contact with some people, and for them to get in contact with me.
Della, you have a lot of followers or friends on Facebook. I said you have a lot of followers and friends on Facebook. Do you know the percentage that are actually people you know as friends or family, and know as collectors? Or?
Well, I know who my collectors are, and there are some people that I do know of. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you a percentage. I know I got, one person was a school teacher, and she contacted me to do a workshop, at a school. So, yeah, I find it's a good way to, communicate, and and even some people that haven't been in contact for years. So I don't know what percentage, but I do know a good percentage, they have, they work in, work in the arts, or they in politics, or, gallery owners, curators, collectors, artists, so.
And I would say, because I've been around Della a long time, and I've watched what she's done, like posting and how people respond well to it. I want to learn to do the computer like that. I just decided maybe during this downtime time, whenever I actually get downtime, I am going to teach myself how to post on Instagram or someplace. And I'll say almost all the artists that I've looked at on the internet, that I do all the time, they have loads. What's Pinterest? It's like something like Wikipedia. There's so many images posted on the internet by all artists, just about. I don't think it matters. Do you know what I mean? Like if you were talking about that artist you just told me about, Della, MacArthur Binion.
Mhm.
Well, how would I see his work if it wasn't all over the internet? And he just sold work. William Johnson said he sold a piece for $880,000. So I need to be able to do that kind of stuff.
I hear you.
Yeah, and I think Matope used to say that, 'cause I think people focus so much on being on, Facebook or, so forth. I think it's, like he said, I agree with him, where he has said it's much more important to have a web presence. I mean, you can have a website, like I have other people posting about me, or if an article is done about, done about any one of you, it's on, on there, and people look, there's people surprised who look stuff up. So, I think,
people find me,
should have a web presence.
Yeah, I think so, because people find me because I have a website, and so they, and when I was doing my GoFundMe, I did raise money because that was on the internet. So I can't, and I had to post a lot of work to get people to purchase it or be rewarded for what they contributed. So I think you have to. Well, I probably know you have to do something to get your work out, and it's not always that you're going to find the right. For me, I had a lot of people selling for me over time, and then they all went away, and I have to now find new people, and that is maybe one of the ways that I'll find them. I know they can't find me unless they're around me or they know I exist. So my job now is to, like I see Rosemary Allison, she's on a lot and looking at her work on, it's exciting for me to be able to access all of these images, just to be inspired by them.
So I'm gonna open it up. I know Matope wants to add to the conversation.
Okay, so somebody, well, here's my thought regarding MacArthur Binion. MacArthur Binion doesn't represent himself.
No, I know.
MacArthur Binion is represented by Lehman Malpin. It's some dealers out of Italy, and so it's different when you have someone that's your rep or agent who posts things for you. It's another thing when you're trying to find a market for yourself. For me, the whole idea behind the web presence is to, be noticeable in some capacity, whether somebody represents you or whether you are representing yourself. For the most part, I always look at it as timing. So I'm always making work but I'm not gonna. But I don't always make it a point to try and show people how I do it. And there are times when I don't really feel like posting recent work until I'm ready to show that work. So I have a different philosophy about it. So in terms of people stealing your work, you know, they'll do that. They'll not only just if they feel inclined to buy it, to copy it, or buy it to figure it out, then more power to them. But for the most part, it doesn't necessarily mean that um, you're going to do a prevention. You may delay that process, and for me, I'd rather delay that process and let them try and figure it out. If they're from somewhere across the country, looking at the work online and looking at it in person is two completely different things. So they may not be able to figure it out. So I do believe in intellectual property, though. And so, yeah, I'm creating ideas, I'm creating concepts. And when I do work and I put work out there on the web, yeah, absolutely. People will they'll say they'll use it as inspiration, but it's stealing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So it's up to us to police it. Absolutely, it's up to us to police it. I got a guy that's using my name and putting it on a piece of work that I didn't even create, and it's been up for the last couple years. And I've actually left posts to tell him to take it down, and he still his excuse is, well, I just put it up there because I know that I could get away with it. You're the first person to say something about it. I didn't even let him know that I was the artist whose name he's stealing to go show you how bold he is. But
does he live in Milwaukee?
Nah, he doesn't live in Milwaukee, because I would have beat his ass by now.
He would have hunted him down.
But no, he doesn't live here. No.
Okay.
So it doesn't bother me, because other than the fact that the work that he's got up under my name is, I guess if I were to use a term, I would say that it's bad art. It's not even good, but that's my opinion. So, but he refuses to take it down, I guess.
You touched on something that crossed my mind too when I was working for myself more as an independent artist, and how I close out some of my press releases is art is best viewed in person. Do you see that being like a concern, that nearly everything is shifting to the virtual platform now, because it's hard to gauge materiality, scale, color? It's a lot of things that can be manipulated and that don't transfer. Like even some of my own work, once you're up in person, you can see the text if it's a collage, or the material, how heavy embodied the material is, that doesn't transfer when you take a photo.
There's
whether it's high res or not. Is that a major concern?
There's no replacement for the actual work. There's nothing that a virtual world can do to convey what that material is, how it feels, how it smells, how it moves. So yeah, you can do virtual all you want to. There's no replacement of having that organic work right in front of you. And I got into an argument 20 years ago or longer with a guy who said, well, yeah, the future is digital work. He wasn't even an artist. He was more of a technocrat, a guy that, functions in the technological world. He was functioning digitally. And this was a guy that I met when I just so happened to be in the, advertising marketing business. And so I had to, really just kind of put him in his place and ask him, okay, do you paint? And once he's revealed that he doesn't paint, okay, do you sculpt? Do you make things with your hands? And he basically denied having the ability to do that. Now, he was pretty savvy on the computer, yeah. And so then I said, then you wasted my time, because there's something visceral about using material, and the materiality of things are totally different than having this digital replacement for things. And so no, I don't think that the digital will ever be significant replacement. I think it's a great way to have a immediate delivery system. Absolutely. And I work on both sides of that world. I work digitally and I work organically, and there's no replacement for the organic. You can't smell anything on your computer. You can't. You can smell oil paint, you can smell varnish, you can touch most things when it's allowed. But there's no replacement for having that materiality right in front of you.
To the other audience, how do you feel about these virtual conversations? Does it give you close to the organic feel that Matope was talking about with the artist? That is it a sufficient replacement to get to know the artist, to maintain relationships, to get an attachment to the work? How does that work for you all?
Are you talking to us? Or start talking?
The non-artists,
Oh,
or there might be
okay.
other artists, I should say, the other audience members.
Is it one other one or how many?
Quite a few.
The total of 12 on the call.
Yeah, I see that.
Well, I would just respond until they're ready.
No,
You want me to respond?
Cindy is about to speak.
Pardon me?
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
If it wasn't for the internet, I wouldn't be introduced to most of you all. So I really appreciate that. And also the fact that most of the established artists, they post on such a regularity that you're able to pick up their personality through their creation. So I really appreciate the posts that I see. And also it's helping me to understand what my true voice can be if I apply myself.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I was gonna ask the devil's advocate question. Can you really determine the personality of the artist through their work?
Yes, I do believe that, because I think that art is just, for me, art is a visual letter, because art has to come from that person's personality. And as far I would just like to revisit the part about I know that our art is like our babies. It's like, it comes from our soul. But me being a fashion person, I often think about a person may have on the same dress as you, but nobody can wear their dress like you. So that's the same way with, like right now, I noticed that a lot of people are expressing themselves, and I don't have a trained background, but I'll just say what I see. A lot of people are right now, they're doing Picasso, but nobody can be Picasso except for Picasso. Now they can have, everybody make their own chocolate cake, but then there is the chocolate cake. So, and I hope that I'm not really getting off topic, but I do believe this, because I remember one of my first art teachers way back. He told me that everybody influences everybody, and that there's often he had told me that there's often going to be a jealousy, but you really have to dig deep down within yourself to express who you are. So that's where I am right now.
Who are you?
It's Cindy.
Who is it?
I saw you a couple times at UWM. You gave me a ride to my car.
Oh, hi.
She ain't gonna remember.
Yeah, hi, Cindy. How are you?
Hi, Cindy.
How you doing?
Good.
She
I'm finding out art supplies in my house. Now I'm ready to explode.
Well, okay, I'm gonna have to disagree with you because I don't
Go
think
ahead.
that the art that artists make reflect their personality. There are a
I
lot
don't think so either.
there are a lot of people that are, they're very how can I put it, they're not extroverted. A lot of them are introverts, and then sometimes the way that they express themselves come out in the work. But when you meet those people out in public, there are times I could have work that's right there in the gallery and nobody even know it's mine. They don't even know I did it. It's not how I act. Because of the paintings that and the way that I dress, sometimes the things that I paint might reflect historical nature, but if you saw me out in public, you wouldn't think of me as a Buffalo Soldier because the way I dress, because I don't dress like a Buffalo Soldier, although I have an interest in, African American history. So yeah, plus, I've known artists to be almost insane, and you don't want to have to deal with their personalities at all. You know, there's a lot of there's a lot of there's a lot of blue chip artists who, you like their work, but you may not like them as people. So I
That's
think that sometimes people can be very
that's true.
they can be very nasty as artists, but their work is dynamite. So I've known dealers to not like the person, but like the work. I mean, think about Jackson Pollock, who he was an alcoholic. He was crazy.
He was nuts.
He would punch people,
Yeah.
but anything about his work. So but people loved his work. I mean, even
Awesome.
dealers who even slept with him didn't like him, but they loved his work.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yes, and I agree with that facet of it, but I was just addressing the question, what do you think? What do you think? But I understand what you're saying because that is very true. That a lot of times you don't, but I think that again, I do think that just like reading a book, you pick up on something about that person. I don't know. So there's
Well,
that.
I would say that I could agree with you somewhat because my work is always a reflection of me, always. And it's different all the time, so it's many things that I express. So I do have I would say even when I'm doing abstract art, it's the way I feel inside. There is not, I guess it doesn't come out in any kind of figurative way, but it's the way my feelings are inside about something. So you could be right, and Matopi could be right because he's looking at it more literally, it sounds like to me, and you're looking at it maybe a different kind of way. I'm not sure, but if you kind of see how, say, cool Matopi is, his work is real refined and cool like that. He's not a messy kind of artist like maybe Jackson Pollock, who was drunk, is
most
what
of
he said, I think.
that. Exactly. Oh, so no, I'm actually insane. I'm just hiding my insanity.
Well, you do it very well. You hide it very well, and
Yeah.
you are so organized. Your work looks organized, so it does kind of reflect you
Uh,
in
hey,
that cool,
so
reserved manner to the public.
you saying I'm anal retentive? Is that what you're trying to say about me?
I think
No,
so, Matope. I think so.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that
No,
your work is.
I'm just messing with you. No, I mean,
I
but
know.
there's a part of what Cindy is saying that you know, some of what we make is a reflection of who we are. That part is very much true. It
Right.
doesn't necessarily qualify as a descriptor for who we are. So yeah, the expressiveness, absolutely. I mean, you could be an introvert, but you could have work that is so expressive that you would never even know that it came from that person. So that's a totally different thing. I can't look at the work and then look at the person and think that that work came from them, because a lot of times, once I'm done with my work, a lot of times I divorce myself from it. So I move on to the next body of work or the next piece, and it's probably whatever I'm thinking or feeling at the time that brings on the new mode of expression. So yeah, I'm full of ideas and I have different modes of expression. I even love working in different media, which a lot of us do, but it doesn't necessarily becomes you know how people really see me. There are things I deliberately, there's iconography and there's color and there's things that I leave as markers where you can trace it back to me, but that's another topic.
That's branding.
Yeah.
Call that if you want to. It's a signature or voice or so one thing that I talk about all the time is like, I do things so that it is a voice of mine or a signature of mine so that people can remember me for the work that I do. So that's different. But no, you couldn't look at me and tell, oh yeah, that, right away that he acts a certain way because of the work that I'm looking at. I think about people like Amar. Amar is, and I'm not speaking for him. It's actually a compliment. He's very low key in certain situations, but look at how expressive he is. Look how, the capacity that he has. And sometimes he comes across maybe mild mannered, although I know that inside of him there's this big, huge personality. He can speak for himself, but
That's exactly who I was thinking of too. I was like, he's so shy acting at least and quiet, but his work is
Until you get to know him.
extremely colorful, expressive.
That's right. And Amar's not here, but he
He's
did
here.
say that he embraced that particular personality and developed it.
yeah.
Because he has a history of something else.
Yeah, he does.
We better not talk about Amar.
No, the reason why I brought it up is because looking at personality and there's I love Amar and I love the fact that that he has a humbling side of himself as well. So yeah, I think there are times we can be our own cheerleader, but I rather cheer in private and not necessarily have to stand on the soapbox to do it, because I rather that people think about the work that I make, and not think about me as a person. And people don't have to like me, for me to make the work. That's not going to stop me from making work, because if they don't like me, I don't really give a shit. But
oh my goodness. What's up with you? Looking at that ugly word.
Well, see, that's
ugly word. You would have to throw that in there.
Well, see, that's the part of me that you didn't know about, did you? You didn't know that how to say that word.
Yeah, so you thought he was a nice artist.
He was buttoned up, mild mannered.
Now you learn something.
No, I didn't learn anything. It's just that you didn't have to throw that in there because you actually.
Yeah. Well, I'm just keeping it 100. That's all.
Keeping it real.
Yeah, that's one of the ugliest words, and I could tell you a whole story about it, but I'll tell
There's
you
some
later.
that are uglier.
There are some that are worse. There are many that are worse.
Not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any other audience members who have questions or comments for the artists? There's no restriction.
I want to thank Syndic for letting me know about this.
Who is this?
I said, this is Maxine. I said, I want to thank Syndic for letting me know about this.
Is this Maxine?
Maxine, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, Maxine,
In Australia? Hi,
No,
Evelyn, how are you?
Hey, Evelyn. Hey, Amar. No, I was on Facebook instant messaging to Syndic, and right when this was starting, she sent me the link.
Wow, cool.
Oh.
Because it says share. It says share, so that's what I wanted to do.
Right. Maxine,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I didn't even know
then
you
I
could
quickly
share.
downloaded the app and got it on my laptop. So this is really great.
Well, I'm
Wow.
glad. I'm glad to hear your voice, Maxine.
Yeah, it's wonderful to hear all of your
Welcome,
voices.
welcome, welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is really great, and it's nice to actually hear your voice because all of you, it's only Mutope, Amar, and Della, and Evelyn are the only ones that I actually knew when I was there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't know you.
Maxine, this is
Yeah.
Maxine is in
Speaking
Australia.
about
Yeah.
artists and not knowing their personalities, I have a couple of pieces of your work and you don't know that, but I do. Can you tell me something about your personality?
Ooh.
No, so I was listening to the conversation about whether an artist's work represents or their personality, and I think it's a bit of both. For me, I don't think there's any way that certain aspects of the artist's spirit doesn't outflow into your work and your writing. No, so yeah.
So can
I
you
don't
talk
know if y'all.
about what you're doing now, Maxine?
Yeah. What are you
Can you
doing?
speak about what?
Well, like what Matope said, a lot of my work is also involved with research. Like I'm looking into Black American research as a Black American living in the diaspora. So I think also an artist's ideas about what you're passionate about and what your interests are, that also flows into your art, what you're interested in, like history.
How would you describe the work you're working on now aesthetically, if you can? The work I have from you are some of your older pieces. I guess you are at UWM, so they're nudes.
Yeah. You told me about the piece that you got from Sandy Robinson.
Mhm.
If I would say now, I mean, I'm working on quite a few different things, but it's dealing with
I'm proud of you.
portraits, portraitures, portraits of psychological portraits, uh, literal portraits, yeah, many things.
If once this passes and travel opens up, would you come back to the U.S.? Not saying to live, but do you venture back or do you stay abroad?
I did come home for 3 months about a couple of years ago, but that's something that I'm grappling with now about what is home and where is home. And as an artist, all of these ideas, we as creatives, philosophical and existential questions, artists deal with that in their work. And so also a lot of the art I'm creating is also dealing with issues about what is home. So to answer your question, that's something that I'm still grappling with. And when I talk to my nieces or whatever, like, even if I would want to venture back, where would I go? But I think I've come to realize that I am a spirit of the universe, and that for me, that I am an Afropolitan, and that the whole world is mine. And I think ideally, I would like to live in multiple places, have different types of home in different places, not one set place.
That sounds marvelous.
Right.
And if I could just add, because I've dealt with a lot of suffering and a lot of issues being so geographically far away from my family, is that what I'm becoming to realize now, for me, that home is an internal place. That the real meaning of home is an internal place. within yourself.
Within yourself.
Yeah. So, but this is great. This is really great. And I remember, like Mutope, when I was in the States, I was a substitute teacher, and I remember one of my classrooms, Mutope's son was one of the students. I don't know if you remember that, Mutope. Your son is probably grown, man.
You're muted, Mutope.
Your mute is on.
Yeah, I remember for certain. Yeah, he's in fact he lives in Chicago, but he's back and forth between Chicago and here. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you would be proud of him. He actually he works for ABC, so he's with Channel 12. Yeah. So that's what he.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So he's
yeah.
a writer. So the one thing that you might have had a strong influence on, because he also is he's a spoken word artist too, so he's pretty talented there.
Really? Fantastic.
Yeah, he doesn't use it quite as much as I would like him to, but I think that it's, he has these passions, and I'm trying to get him to do more writing. But who knows?
Yeah.
It may have been because of you that there are these people that have these influence on our children.
Oh, interesting. Well, when you talk to him, if he remembers me, tell him that Maxime said hello.
I will show him a picture, because
and then I remember him. I remember him.
I will do that. In fact, I got a recent picture of you in front of one of your paintings. You got the bangles on your right hand, and you're in a white dress. You got a blue head on, and lots of hair.
Yeah, yeah.
One of your paintings that's got many, many words on it. So yeah.
Yeah, because I do a lot of writing, combining painting text inside of paintings. A lot of my poetry, because I write a lot of poetry and verse, and writing is a big part of my art practice.
Right. Yeah, he'll remember you. I'm positive. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is really great. Hello, Amar. Hey, Amar.
Is Amar there?
Is he there?
Hello. Hey, Maxine. How are you?
Hi, Amar.
Hi, Amar.
Hi, Amar.
Hey, Amar.
Hey.
Somebody tell you we
Hi.
were talking about you?
I was here listening.
Oh, okay. Wow. He didn't even say anything.
Reflection of his personality. He's
right.
Yeah, you can't sneak on a conference call when your name pops up.
Right.
Okay, I'm looking for this Mac. Oh, here she is.
So, I'm not kicking anyone off, but do you have any more comments, questions for anyone on the line? If there are any lectures or art enthusiasts, they might not have to be artists. Do you have any comments or input to the conversation? Are you still collecting? Are there ways that you are advocating or supporting the artists during this time? Or are there any resources you know of that the artists can tap into to weather this time as they transition to virtual platforms?
I have a question for you, Fatima.
Oh goodness.
What's going on with the gallery? What do you see the next level for 5 Points?
So I'm a planner, so I had exhibitions lined up until the end of the year. And so now I've been trying to wait out things to see if people will be released back into society from their homes, to figure out if the physical space needs to be the focus or permanently shift into a virtual space is the move. I was already working on the hybrid, so I do have a website that's up, but now we're trying to focus on putting the work online, so creating a shopping cart. Especially, it was always the focus to create a shopping cart for the gift shop, but now making sure the exhibit work online too, because I always wanted to encourage people to come to the physical space to purchase and see the work and appreciate the work. So I'm working on the website. I wanted to make sure people stay connected and intact by these virtual chats. There are certain things that you have to cut out. Like, ironically, maybe a month ago, a big supporter asked, "Oh, when are you doing another dinner?" I love those. You need to do another one. So I'm like, "Oh, I have something for you." And so that was in the works, but then now that's cut off. And then I had a spoken word artist who does monologues around the country. She was going to do a Harriet Tubman performance. That was scheduled for May. So it's like now I'm trying to figure out how to reroute those plans so that I can still be an advocate and agent for the artist. So
Okay.
I'm constantly trying to figure things out. Then also trying to figure out how to generate revenues, not only for the artist, but for myself to maintain the overhead for the building, you know, because I'm an infant in the game. So my startup costs are high and, you know, I need to offset them. But, you know, right now everything is down. So I'm trying to figure out creative ways to and sustain. And I think the virtual platform will help. But that's it. I'm just trying to figure things out. The reporter I was talking about earlier, he asked me, or I told him how I took my time to send out a video that, you know, the gallery's still open and operating. We're shifting to a virtual platform because I didn't want to panic, and then I didn't want my message to get lost in the shuffle. It helps no one, and there were things on the back end I had to take care of too, and just sending out COVID-19, I'm shut down. You know, I'm not shut down, so I didn't want to respond in hysteria. It's not even my personality in the first place. You know, I figure things out, so I'm just trying to navigate how the wind and waves shift me and figure out how to be even more collaborative with the practice. Because I've always believed in collaboration as the most sustainable way to elevate and grow the business. And I always considered the space as a collaborative space. Like, that's why I want the artists to come in and talk so that they can get to know me and we figure out how to elevate whatever they're doing together. It's collaborative. So that's where I'm at.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me too.
Sounds good to me.
So I'm open to ideas. People are always making suggestions. I'm not the most tech savvy person. Again, I told you I don't like social media, but you know, it is what it
How
is.
does all of it? How do you get all of the information out like you do so much, so steadily, if you're not tech savvy?
I mean, there are people who are more, I think, who like it and it's nothing to them. For me, it's just like, some more work to do. But I always make sure I get things done. That's how I've been. So I just get it. Like, oh, I don't like it, but it's a necessary evil. So
It's a job that has to be done.
So you are doing well with it.
I'm like, you know, this is not about me, the space and the gallery is not about me. I don't need all of this for myself, my own practice. So I'm like, I'm doing it for someone else. And so I have to put them first. So let me do this to help them, to have credibility, so that they know I'm invested in them. Like I'm asking them to take a chance on me to show their work, even if it's short-term representation.
Right. I understand that. I'm just saying you do whatever you do well. So you have to probably do like you're doing right now and do it a lot, so people get used to knowing it's going to be there and they can tap into it.
Yeah. I mean, there was the wearable fashion art show that was supposed to come up, and do I transfer that online? How do I get the works from the artist? How do I get, or do I even get the works from the artist now? Do I have to advise them to get, high-res images or video of their works, and then I create some kind of video, you can scroll, and then attach it with an inventory list, and then experience. So it's just a lot of navigating and adjusting. It's all gonna be tied to the DMC opening, but also for the second installment of the District America show, which was a really popular show for the gallery last year.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We'll send it to you. we'll get in contact with you.
Yeah, so I'll be communicating with those artists soon, because I know the DMC, not that my business is tied to the DMC, so that's another thing. It's being pushed back until August here. And
if that happens.
Right, that's the big if. And so
yeah.
I'm glad my whole model wasn't centered around one event. But should I keep as is the dates that I have lined up? I've extended the current exhibitions to try to weather out this situation, this pandemic situation, hoping that it back out into the world and give the artists some more time to physically exhibit here. So it's small little adjustments like that. And then I created an inventory list for them. It was attached to my email distribution list that went out. So it's just extra steps that I'm trying to take to stay visible too.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I want to say thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for doing this. This was really great for me, just to be able to talk and collaborate with everybody and hear everybody's thoughts and help me with my paranoia.
Yeah, it was nice talking to everybody.
Yeah.
It was just nice to hear everybody's voice. So that was really nice.
Take care of yours.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Okay, Evelyn, call me.
Who is that, Ruthie?
Yeah, it's me.
I'll get your number from
Della has it.
Fatima.
Everybody has it.
Ruthie has it. I mean, Rhonda has it.
Everybody has it.
Everybody, Matope has it.
Me, I don't have it.
Well, you should
text it to me.
I'll just end with there are 6 more sessions. They come out every Tuesday and Thursday. So if you want to participate in some other ones, feel free. You're always welcome. They are all different teacher artists, different perspectives, different practices. They'll all, for the remainder, be starting at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. The platform I changed to Zoom from this. I've been experimenting. So the next ones will probably be with Zoom.
Oh, Zoom, okay.
Stay tuned for the links.
Okay.
And I appreciate everyone's time and contribution. And I'm glad everyone is healthy and safe overall.
So Fatima, so you're saying you're doing this every Tuesday and Thursday?
Thursday. And Maxine, if you're not on the email distribution list, you can send Facebook
Oh, okay.
With your email address, and I can add it. And I'll before each session, I'll send out the notice about the new links.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
For the
it's
next
nice.
year, I'm featuring some photographers in the gallery.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
I'll get with my son about that too.
Yeah, let me know so I can add
Okay.
them to the description.
I will do that. Once my voice gets back, try and get to it.
This was
Okay.
great. I said
This
again, it
is
was really
awesome.
great. It really was.
Yeah,
Thank you.
congratulations for getting through this.
You're
And
welcome.
maybe as it rotates, I'll have the right equipment that you suggested that I should have to walk around the gallery in here.
Wait,
So
what
you'll
kind
need
of equipment?
a camera and speakers.
Pardon me?
So you'll need a computer with a camera and speakers.
Right, I have to get a computer with a camera or a screen?
a phone, a smartphone with a updated phone.
Oh,
You mean updated or upgraded?
One of the two, yes.
something more modern.
Yes.
I'll go work on it.
Okay. All right, everyone have a great evening.
Thank you.
And we
You have a great evening.
all right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Matope, before you go, what is the name of your son, Matope? Tell me his name.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. Yep,
Right.
that's it. Yeah, okay. All right. Love to all. All keep safe
you.
and
Have a good night.
Okay, good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Fatima.
You're welcome. You're
How do I
welcome.
cut off now? Right.
It should say something that says leave.
Bye, Amar. Bye, Della. Bye, Evelyn.
Bye. I'm trying to figure out when do I push the off button. Are we supposed to say 5, 3, 2, 1?
Right.
Y'all, girl.
How do we know when to hang up? I'm afraid.
It's all over. Hang up.
Leave the meeting. Hang up. Okay.
In the meeting. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.